Okay, so image-based lighting. So let's see how we can integrate our shapes that we can create inside of a real photo using image-based lighting. Okay, so I'm not going to create a new document now. I'm going just to open one. So here's my image. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 3D text or any shape you want, but okay, I think text could be a little bit interesting. So let's just create a text. Call it call it 3D. 3D. Okay. IBL, so image-based lighting. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to name it. So make it bigger. I think this is good. Okay, then I'm going to go to 3D and create a 3D extrusion. Okay, the second thing, I'm going to align my 3D into my background. So I'll try my best to make it aligned. I think something like that could be good. Just a little more. Okay, that's too much. Okay, let's try. Okay, I don't want to do that. Oh. Okay, this is too much work. Uh, okay, this looks better. So numbers can help me a little bit more. Anyway, so now let's just see this. There's our object, and the first thing I want to do is I want to change its material so I can see the environment reflecting. So I'll select the material and select all of them, and I'm going to give them 100% reflection. So this will change it to chrome material. No roughness, and everything is good to go. So here we are, we have this 3D text. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to apply my environment. So I'll go to the environment, and here's my IBL. So this checked, so I'm using IBL, but I'm using this image. So if I'll edit the texture, you can see here's the image that I'm using to lit my scene. If I'll go ahead to the image mode, you can see this 32-bit per channel. This will give you more realistic lighting, especially in the light areas. So when you can have values that are around above 1, just especially if you have sun. So the sun will emit a lot of light. Okay, so let's just I'm going to replace the texture. Okay, especially not the flowers. I have this one and HDR. I'm going to use this one. Okay, here's my image. You can see the lighting changed on these objects, and I can adjust the intensity, or I can just open the image and apply an exposure to it. Okay, so for now I'm not going to do either of those. I'll go to the scene. I can see that this is a little bit darker than my background, and I'm just going to linearize the colors. This should bring it more because I have linear image. Okay, then I can see that this is not the perfect alignment maybe for my image. What I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to the environment again. When I click in the environment, I'll have this overlay of my environment. So if it will start rotating, I'll be rotating my environment. You can see the small sphere here that is reflecting my environment, so I can see it better. And I'm going to rotate it here until I have it. Okay, I think that this is good. Okay, so let's see the other way. I think it's the other one. So I should see the reflection of the trees on the side of the text, not on the front of it. Okay, so I think this is good. I'll just jump in for another thing. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to match the shadows. So if I look at the shadows, you can see the direction of the shadows there. In my image, there's going from the left to right, all over with an angle there. So let's just see that better here. So here's my shadows. Okay, let me do that now. I'm going to select my spotlight, which is infinite, sorry, not spot, and I'm going to adjust the shadows until they match. So I think I'll have a little bit of something like that. Okay, zoom in a little bit. For now, you can see this does not really feel that's in there. Now I'm going to render it. Now if I want to render a specific area, I just make selection, then render. You'll see the object will be more placed a little bit better in the background. Now without this HDR that I use for the lighting, the text won't feel that it's actually in this environment. It will be very hard to me to make it believable that this text actually is here in this environment. So let's just stop the rendering, and just by looking at this you can see that this feels very natural. Now the only thing that's not natural is having a 3D text on a street. So this is the only thing that might look not natural to you. And you can then adjust the colors. You can't just, it's not limited to here, so you can, you have Photoshop, the full power of the image correction you have, so you can use it to enhance your image. But for now you can see you have very good results, and you can do anything for your text. For example, now I still have the ability to change it, so let's just edit the source. I'm going to change this, for example, to Adobe. Commit to that, close it, go to save changes. Here's my new text. So another thing I can do here, I'm going to select the text. Okay, let's just make a little bit of inflation there. Or let me create a bevel. Zoom in just a bit so I can see it. So this might take a while. Here's my bevel. Now I'm going to adjust the material of that bevel because I have a new bevel material, and this material is 100% reflective, so this is good. I just want to make sure that all of the materials are chrome. I don't want to have anything that is different. So the other thing I want now is I want to make something different. I'll go to the extrusion material and I'm going to give it something like this red color. Okay, maybe I can make it rough. Okay, I'm waiting. Something like 60. Okay. That just takes a while here. So zoom out. Here's my Adobe logo on the street. And other thing, the final thing here is I want to render it. Okay, so let's just stop here. If I want to see something very in a clear way, so I'm going to make a smaller selection around this one, for example, and go to render it. So now you can see the effect. Because when you have a low resolution render with a high resolution background, this won't be very good to see, so it's not going to give you the exact results that you're after. So you want to make sure, and you want to make sure you don't go too far with the 3D render. You don't make it very crisp and clear when you have like a shaky image or not very high resolution background, and you make very crisp and clear objects. So you need to compensate for those. You need to balance the image. So let's just stop the render, and you can see the difference between the A and the other object. So I'm going to select those. Now let's just see another thing here. If I'll go to the environment, double click, and here's my ground plane. So here's the shadow that I have on the ground. You can see I can just change its color. If I want to make it more interesting, if I want to make a red shadow, it's like because I have this red object, and I don't want that, but you can do that. And another thing I want to do is I can make stronger shadows if I want. So you can see the shadows are stronger. And you can make reflections. So for example, I'll put a reflection here. Okay, that is small amount. Take it to 50. You can see the reflection. Then I'll go ahead to the roughness, and okay, that is taking too long, but make it something like 80. So 80%. You can see the effect. Okay, let me take it to something like 50 as well. So this looks better. So this is good. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is I'll select those, and I think something here, and I'm going to render. Okay, I think that needs a little bit more. Then I'm going to render again. Okay, so here we are. I just paused for like 5 minutes and did some rendering, so I refined my image. Here's our final results. You can see this looks very good. And you can go further now, and you have your 3D layer, you have your background. If you feel that your 3D layer needs to be a little bit like darker, so maybe I can apply curves for it. Look a little bit, darken it just a bit, so you can see. You can still have the same control that you have in Photoshop. And then if you thought that the red is not appropriate, maybe you want a different color, so you don't render again, but what you do is you just simply apply here in saturation and shift the colors. So this is it basically. And another thing I want to show you now. Okay, so with the same thing, let's just create a new one. Gotta keep this one. And what I'm going to do is go to let's just create a text, or not a text. Okay, I'm going to create something like, okay, selected layer mesh sphere, and create. Okay, then I'll go to environment again, and I'm going to replace the texture, select the same one. Okay, so now I have this environment that is reflected, so let me change the material so I can see the environment better. I'll make a chrome sphere. Okay, let me just remove this one. Okay, I'll make it black. So no diffuse basically. Then I'll make 100% reflection. Go to the scene again, linearize colors. Okay, so I can see it a little bit brighter. And here's my environment reflecting, and you can see that I don't have my environment I don't have a photo. Maybe I have it in HDR, so I want to make this sphere reflected, and I don't have the environment now. You can see it's just white. So I can put an environment image, or what I can do, so I can use the backlight the way that I did in the first example, or when I go to the environment, so I can load a texture as an environment, or I can set IBL as an environment. So this is a very big one, very big image. So you can see here's my IBL, the same image that I'm using for lighting. I'm using it to be a background. Now you can see I have a 360-degree image. So what I want to do is and check the panorama option. So this will fix it because it's not a 2D image, it's a panorama. So this way you can see your lighting and you can see as I drag in 3D space, the environment is changing and my lighting is changing. So you can go ahead to the camera, adjust the distance to the depth a little bit. You can see the depth of field. Okay, I wanna just to make sure something else that you know here. The field of view, if you have like a narrow field of view, or you took a photograph with a very small lens and you try to make something on it, so something like the text, like this one here. Just to make sure to look at the details of the image, see the lens, and try to replicate that in here with the field of view, because this might be a little bit better if you have very like fish eye lens, for example. I don't know why you would use that, but for example, if you have a fish eye lens and you're trying to get a 3D object in it, you want to make sure that this 3D object has the same distortion as your image. Otherwise, it won't feel natural. So this is the last tip about integrating CG into real backplates. I hope you get an idea of what you can do with IBL in Photoshop. So it's not about just placing text on the street. So I hope you can go further and do very interesting images with this.